an approach to strumming the mandolin here. Now, one thing that's important with strumming, we've talked about follow through. I've mentioned follow through. This is a great way to practice your follow through, because in order to do open strumming chords on the mandolin or any instrument, you got to get to where you can push. Where you can push through all the strings as though they were one string. I mean, that's the goal, whether you're playing a 6-string guitar, 12-string guitar, mandolin, single string, as in single as in double string mandolin. The follow through is what gives the note timing and definition. Otherwise, if you're playing a strum, it starts to sound like a rake. And if you're playing specifically on the mandolin, if you're playing if there's any ambiguity to your follow through, it can start to sound like double noting. So anyway, let me show you what the pattern is. So with this, the follow through is important, but it's also important not to hold the pick too hard. You got to hold it you don't want it like that. You want it to have a little bit of give. You don't want it to be like that either. Just a little bit of give to where it doesn't sound harsh when you hit. If you hold it tight, it gets harsh. It's got to have that. The lighter pick hold is what gives it that sort of feathery flakiness. So what's going on with the right hand here is so see, I'm basically going, but I'm throwing a couple accents in there. So we've got alternating rhythm going. My right hand is just rolling that rhythm out, and then what I'm doing is so those first two accents are downstroke accents, and then the other one or two, we'll have to see what it is here in a minute, accents are upstrokes. So 2, 3, 4. So you hear that? So now accents, when you're repeating a pattern like this over and over again, accents are what create the pattern, because like a drummer, you're repeating those accents, and the pattern emerges and is defined by the placement and the repetition of the accents. So, with the left hand, what's going on here is we've got some suspension of some suspended chords, some hammer-ons, a suspended chord for those of you who don't play rhythm guitar in a rock and roll band. A suspended chord is when you have a note that's not part of the chord in the chord that then resolves to a chord tone. You know, the classic that you hear on the guitar all the time. Suspension. You suspend that fourth, resolve to the third. Suspend the ninth, resolve to the third. In that case. But this case, we're hammering on this. We're in this G chord, and we're hammering on this open A to B. So then at the end of that chord, where that accent is, you're hitting that, opening that A again, and then that A stays open, and you move that C over to that C, which you repeat that same pattern shape just over the C chord instead of the G. And then that's basically it. And then when you get to that D chord, you do a suspend that G, which it's sort of a suspension and an anticipation, because really what it's doing, it's playing the note of the next chord before you get to the next chord, which is also what's happening on this C chord. Playing that D, which is that's basically it.